yeah, this is the new Cub Scouting programming, so that's what we're here for. And I just want to preface this with this is the 4th or 5th time I've given this presentation, and I just want y'all to know I didn't create any of this.
Right.
Okay.
So we'll be judging.
We just live with what we're given.
That's right. So don't go screaming at me because I had too many scream fests in the past.
Oh man.
If I had any sway in any of this, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I'd be on an island someplace making the big bucks, right? So this was, let me give you some background. This was created over the course of 2 to 3 years, maybe give or take. What National did was they sent out surveys to Cub parents and Cub leaders, asking them for feedback. What's working? What's not working? What do we really need to fix? And they listened to that. This is a compilation of all of that. And these are the 3 things that they learned. People wanted it to be fun, they wanted it to be simple, they wanted it to be easy. And I think simple and easy, you know, there's a little crossover there, but I tell you the nightmares, my kids are 30 and 27 now, and the nightmares that I went through as a Weeblos den leader and an AOL den leader trying to figure out what had to be done before what and in what order, this is like light years ahead. So they want it to be fun for everybody, not just the Cub Scouts, but the leaders and the parents too. They want it to be easy to deliver, super, super easy. And I think y'all are gonna love it. I love it. I love the way, I'm kind of jealous that y'all get to do this now. Yeah. And then there's simple to understand and explain, and it all starts June 1st. So if you didn't already know, the Cub year goes June 1st to June 1st. And I come across this every year, especially at the Cub camp, where people sign up in January, February, and they're like, what's your child's rank? And they're like, oh, he's a tiger. And then they show up at camp, it's like, my kid's not a tiger. And I'm like, well, what did you register him as? So it goes as of June 1st, always. They cannot earn anything towards tiger after June 1st, because now they're
the next rank.
They're the next rank, and it's the next rank and the next rank, okay? But you can start earning in July. So let's take a look at the next slide here. So why the changes? Well, the parents and the leaders requested it. They want to increase the average tenure of the Cub Scout, which is presently 1.6 years.
Wow.
Is the amount of time that a child stays in Cub Scouting. 1.6 years. Like, that is like an appalling retention rate.
Yeah.
They wanted to simplify it for the process for the leaders. This thing that it was called Den in a Box, and it felt like really, really old school. They used to have this thing where every month there was a different theme, which was cool, but it didn't drive the programming so much. Trying to take a circus theme and apply it to birds doesn't work so much. Yeah. So they want the process to be simple for the leaders to understand and for the leaders to deliver it. Increase the visibility of the leaders. So I can tell you, in the 6 years as a district commissioner, I probably handed out still 2 hands. Probably count on 2 hands the number of awards that I passed out.
Wait, leaders can get awards?
Yes.
See, I didn't even know that was a thing.
These right here.
That's
I don't
what those things
wear
are.
these to be general me. I wear these so that when you start understanding what they are, you understand what the background is of what that person is, and it's like a resource to go to them. And I wear them to inspire others. It's not like, hey, look at me, look what I did. There are some people who are like that, but that's not why I did
That would
it.
be me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at me.
Although I think
Open
some
over
of
the
those
back.
may not exist anymore.
Yes, some of them do not exist anymore.
Yes.
Because of the program change, okay? So
Yeah.
yes, you can
Did
earn
not know that.
awards.
Okay.
You should be credited for the time and service that you're providing to the youth. And there are, Jamie can talk to you about it later, but there are worksheets for you to do, and things. Some of them are easier than others. we want our actions to drive recognitions. And what that basically means is there were some activities that were being required of them that didn't actually get fed into an advancement.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? And off the top of my head, I couldn't even give you an example of that right now, but there were things that were done that did not have advancements connected to them. So there was, and you know, the kids now, they want instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
And we always tell leaders, don't wait until the blue and gold banquet to award them.
Yeah.
Give it to them monthly. Not that it's the instant gratification that they want, but it encourages them. Everybody wants an attaboy pat on the back. So a monthly recognition of what they've done. Because by the time you get to the blue and gold banquet, shoot, that could be 6 months from now. That's a long time to go without someone saying, hey, good job.
Well, then by the
Especially
time
when
they
you're
get
that
it, they don't even remember
They
what
don't
they did
remember.
for
Right.
it. They're like, ooh,
Yep.
look at
Especially
this
that
pretty
age.
little
They
thing.
have
They have no idea what it is.
Exactly. They have
Yeah.
no concept.
Yeah.
So there were, here we go, 4 years. Thousands of surveys were sent out over 4 years. They got 23,000 responses, which is an amazing response as well. And then their conclusions and actions have a 95% confidence rate from all of this. Okay.
So here's what,
Here we go.
here's what the new books look like.
Yes. So looking at these,
I saw those online and I was
Yeah.
like,
Aren't they
I
cool?
didn't know if those were the new ones or if those were
These
the
are the
old
new
These
ones.
are the new ones.
Okay, see, I waited to buy it. Okay.
so
Well,
looking
people are
at
third grade.
these, what do we see?
They look
Audience
a lot more
participation
fun because the older
They
ones
are.
just had the word.
They are very fun.
They look cool.
They do.
I will point out to you that
Okay, great.
those of
look
you
at
who have, look over on this side of the table or
I was gonna say it has the grade level on them.
yeah.
Yes, it does.
Oh, and it's got the little symbols for each of the advancements that you do.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
Is something else obvious that we're missing?
Yeah,
Well,
but they
besides
may,
the color.
it is
Leaders
right,
did.
but they may not notice it as much. So if you
Well,
that you
us-
can put your
the
name on the
name,
front.
Us
Yeah.
had that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess.
A big one that people kind of may not notice is so you know what the lion book looked like. How many of you know what the lion
Mhm.
Finley
Yeah.
book looks
Yeah.
like? You notice that the tiger book looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the big things that they decided is, a lot of kindergartners may not be the best readers. Why give them a big spiral-bound handbook with a lot of big words in it that they may
Right.
not really be able to read and understand?
Oh,
So the
Okay.
Tiger Handbook for Scouts now
almost the same.
is very similar to the Lion Handbook.
That's nice.
That way it's much
Yeah.
more interactive for them.
Interactive.
They can actually utilize the book as opposed to having something that may not really
Yeah.
be terribly useful for them.
Right.
Yeah, it was pointless for us to have it.
Yeah, we were
because
struggling
we
reading,
can't.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm looking,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, so they really tried to do things that were a bit more age appropriate,
Yes,
and
they
this
did.
is one of the first ways you'll really notice that.
And you'll notice that the characters change based on the
Mm-hmm.
rank. They've made them more age appropriate. You're not going to use something that's a very grown up bear
Oh, yeah, they get like more
Visage.
realistic.
Yeah.
for
like
a
that.
tiger
Right.
or for a lion.
Right.
And for a tiger, it starts to advance as they age.
Subtle but smart.
And yes, and it's all almost subconscious,
Mhm.
like marketing. But the color, it's all reinforcement.
Yeah.
Really is what it is. It's a reinforcement of the color with the ranks. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do the next one. Here we go. So here are the 4 major areas of improvement that were decided from those 24,000 surveys that were sent out. First was that Bobcat was incredibly ineffective because you've got one set of requirements for 6 different age groups. And what do you do with the returning scouts? Like if they come back?
they review it.
They don't review it again.
We did it last year. Yeah.
And is it a rank or is it not a rank? When I was as a demo, I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was like, how many well, I mean, they didn't have lions and tigers, but I'm like, where does the bobcat fit in this? Adventures, they were very disjointed. And I don't want to dive deeper into that until I show you the beautiful chart that they've given, because it's just like mind-blowing what they've done. It makes so much sense. There was an incredible inconsistent number of adventures for each rank.
Yeah.
With what, yeah. And what was offered to them, and
Some
what
ranks
they had
have
to do for
bunch.
each rank. You're
Yeah.
like, why does my 8-year-old have to do 20 different arrowhead electives, but this bear is only doing 6?
Yeah.
Right? And then they wanted more elective adventures for them to choose from, to give them more choice. Weeblos, the length of the Weeblos program was changed. It does not follow the pattern of the other ranks. And the purpose of the program was like, I don't know, are they Weeblos? Are they Arrow of Lights? Is Arrow of Light a rank? Is it an award?
Yeah, I didn't understand.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about, like when my kids were younger. I had to have a spreadsheet that was like color coded to figure out who had to do what and where and how they were going to do it. And then there were all these other awards that were kind of hanging out there. Like the Summertime Pack Award, the Outdoor Activity Award, the Conservation Award. Nobody did them. The average attachment rate to those was 1.5% of people earning those awards. And they found that those awards did not drive behavior. They put them out there hoping that people would want to get out and do conservation, that they would want to do Summertime Pack Award and meet once a month, even if it's just an ice cream social, but they didn't do it. And when you don't have that continuity over the summer, keeping the kids together, they start to separate and split apart, right? So, there are fixes for all of this.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry.
Come on.
If you're driving, you can't fall asleep.
These are the areas of focus for the required adventures now. There's a character and leadership, the outdoors, personal fitness, citizenship, personal safety, and family and reverence. And this is the same across every single rank. There are 6 of them. There's not 2 over here and 20 over there and 5 here. 6. And everything that they do follows under one of these 6 categories. Okay? All right. Each rank also has 16 electives. Whether you're a lion or an AOL, or 20 electives for the tiger, wolf, bear, and weeblos.
Now this is a change. In the past, you only had to complete 1 elective. Now you have to complete 2. But there are a lot more options and things that can be done with your whole unit, as opposed to just necessarily the individual or the den. So.
And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what the actual program looks like in the next PowerPoint. This is kind of like the 500-foot view of it, just a kind of overview before we really dive down deep. Right.
Bobcat's next.
There we go. Bobcat. What is it? What was it? Well,
Handshake, the motto.
yes,
the
that's right.
Sorry.
And Bobcat was always the first thing you did, no matter what rank you did, no matter if you were coming back or not. Now it is required, and it is built into the advancement of rank earning. And it is not the same for each rank. It starts here, and it slowly starts building, so that the child is not doing the same thing all 6 ranks. And and that you don't have a lion doing something that's more age appropriate for a Weeblos, or a Weeblos doing something like that's tiger age, right? Right, you've seen that face.
Yeah.
Like,
All the
why
time.
am I doing this? That's
Mom!
Yes,
right?
yes.
So it builds.
And another thing you'll notice is it's no longer a patch.
No.
So now each rank, they earn it as an adventure. It's a
Okay, to
required
follow it.
adventure. And it has either a belt loop or a pin depending on the age.
So now will those 4 be together without the bobcat then? So will lion be up there with them?
Yes.
So will
It is. There's a picture of what that'll all look
We
like.
gotta get
how-
into uniforms. That's why we wanna make
I was
sure.
make sure I didn't have to put the
Yes and no.
bobcat patch back on.
Yes and no. Yeah.
So for, if you have a scout that's already earned it,
Mm-hmm.
then what they've got on their shirt as far as having the patch or whatever can stay the same.
Yes.
That
We gotta-
doesn't have to
We gotta
change.
sew new things on
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
However,
absolutely.
he is going to now have to do it again
Yeah.
as an adventure as a bear.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing
Even
it
though he
again,
may have
but it's
earned
not
it,
the same
but it's
thing
not
that
gonna be
they're
the
doing.
same requirements exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want I don't know what the next one looks like. Drew keeps turning it off. It goes into the electives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are what it looks like. You've got. Yes, isn't it pretty?
Mhm.
It is
Wow.
pretty. Like it speaks
They made
to
this
my,
one pretty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the 6 adventures and the 2 elective adventures at the bottom. Isn't that? And
Is
each,
this overview, sorry, is this overview out there outside of, this slide then? 'Cause
Yes.
that's,
It is.
I was about to say,
pretty
It
useful
this
and-
needs to be
it is-
printed,
it is
laminated.
out there now.
Okay.
It is
It
not
is.
out there.
Okay,
Back in the spring, it is out there now. But if
Okay.
you look at this,
That's
you're gonna
nice.
see outdoors.
yep,
Outdoors, 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 walkabout, adventure, they're all outdoors. Personal fitness, personal fitness, personal fitness, personal fitness. And they all build upon each other. They start out with that base and then they switch it up a little bit more to make it just a little more challenging for them.
Now, I will say one thing, you'll notice that some of the adventures are the same, or appear to be the same. So Tiger Bites
Yep.
was a tiger adventure before.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean
No.
that it's exactly the same requirements and activities as it was before.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so they have modified some of that to make it all about that area and change some of the activities that are involved there. So you will still see some of the same, what appear to be some of the same adventures, but they may not have all of the exact same requirements that they
Exactly.
had previously.
Because, who doesn't like to go fishing? Or who doesn't like to go biking?
Right.
Why would
My
you take
kids.
that out of there? If it's already in there,
Right.
there are things that are still in there. Well,
Yeah.
They don't like to do anything, so. I had to drag them here.
That's right, that's right. But then you'll notice a lot of new ones too, so.
you will. So some, the really good stuff they kept and then they fluffed
Yeah.
away the rest of it.
Yeah.
We got the personal safety that builds
Whoops.
all the way up to.
Sorry.
We're good. We're
I thought
good.
you were
So
prompting
She
me
was
to-
ready.
Okay.
this is an example of that with hiking. You take a walk outside, spending at least 20 minutes exploring the outdoors with your Cub Scout and discussing the 6 essentials. Well, you notice the wording says walk. Because when it was saying hiking,
It did say that.
Yeah.
it said hiking.
Mm-hmm.
And
It said
if
hike
you're-
everywhere.
It said-
Yeah.
It did say hike everywhere, which,
Yeah.
yeah, I understand I'm saying hiking. But if you're a brand new den leader and you're like hiking, you're like, oh my gosh, we need to take water bottles, I need first aid kits, we need health forms, we need to figure out where we're going, I need to hike the path before we, no. Just go out and walk in your local park for 20 minutes, that's all they want. Good pair of shoes, hat, water bottle, sunscreen.
Yeah.
Go for a walk. And then they slowly start building upon themselves. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, adding to it.
Right.
Go 1 mile, adding to it. Walk with a buddy, figure it out, walk 2 miles, okay? Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So it builds. They're showing improvement. And these are the 16 electives that they get to choose from. So you've got the 16, I forgot what the coloring, the light color, this is what's already existing, that
Right.
they've kept.
Yeah.
And then the dark color is new. And then these are the shooting sports activities, these really dark ones at the bottom. Those are only things that can be done at district and council events.
Okay.
And I will say, a lot of the new elective adventures are things that were pulled from previous awards that have now been discontinued. So the outdoor adventure award
Mhm.
were things like, go on a picnic, go fishing, go do this, go do that. They've incorporated them into electives where every group has a go fishing elective.
Exactly.
Every group has a, the summertime fun elective.
Right, because if you looked at this, where was it? I think it was Salmon Run was the fishing one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tigers wanted to go fishing,
Right?
but the bears were the only ones that could go fishing
Fishing,
to
right.
get the advancement
Right.
for it.
Right. Well, and that's it. They realized there were a lot of activities like camping, fishing, biking, swimming that people were doing, but
Not
there was
getting credit
nothing
for.
connected to it to really drive that
Yes.
activity or to
Yeah.
reward them for participating.
So that's where, if you go back to that first slide where it says that there were activities, but there was no
Right.
required,
That's what you're talking about. Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes so much more sense now.
And then the shooting sports, which is now called, and I should remember this, range and target activities. Because they're not allowed to say shooting anymore.
Oh,
Range
bad word.
and target activities has been changed. So this has all been updated as well.
Yes.
And like I said, these are things that if you ever hear of anybody doing this outside of a district or council event, whether it's a PAC event or a troop event, you gotta call somebody. These are only to be done at district and council events because of the safety precautions and the training of the range masters. It's not something that, hey, we've been going out to, my uncle's farm and for years and years and shooting it up and camping out there every Thanksgiving, and there were troops that were doing that.
So does the archery and like the slingshot, when did we do that? Like the tiger rally, would that count?
Yes.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
So
That's at Cub
Cub,
Event.
anything that happens at
Okay.
Cub Adventure
Adventure.
Camp, when we do Lion Tiger Rally, we do Creepy Hollow, fun.
Yeah, it was one
what
of
is
those
it?
we did
Biking
that.
in the spring, fun in the sun. What is it now?
It's called. It's called.
The Spring Cubbery.
It's the
There's
spring.
one on the waterfront.
The Spring Family Camporee
There we go.
is now the new
Camporee.
official. By God, I will
Name.
quit if it ever changes the
Okay.
name again.
Well, we just gotta. Yeah, exactly. Come on.
The Spring Family Camporee.
There we go.
So yes, and we'll get to, there's another part to this as
Yeah.
well, and all of this is how it applies to camp, but we'll talk about that later. So again, this is what the electives look like, this is what they're keeping, it was in it, and this is the new stuff, so that we're all fishing now.
Right.
It's nice. We're all
I like that.
biking.
Yeah. All right.
Alright. So the bold on here, it's hard to tell on this, isn't it? So the bold is the new adventures, the italics are the existing.
Right. Rolling Tigers
Yes.
was
Spear
the
with
only.
water, salmon run.
They were the only one that had any kind of biking activity.
Right, and swimming.
Oh yeah, and everybody did it when we did it.
Yeah, that's
So-
right. Everybody
Well, that's
needs
it.
to know
Yeah.
how to swim.
Yeah.
So, we got it across there, okay?
And you'll notice, like Pinewood Derby
Yes,
and
it
Rain
is
Gutter Regatta
now.
now actually have an
Yes,
adventure that they
adventure.
can
Oh, I
do.
didn't
They've
even
got an
realize that
adventure.
wasn't
Mhm.
an
No, it was
adventure.
just a big activity that we all did
Yeah.
because it was
Everybody
fun.
I just
It
figured
was
those
fun.
awards were the
Right,
same.
right.
Yeah.
Did not even click in my brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of these extraneous awards, like again, like the conservation award, the summertime pack award, the outdoors award, the rain gutter and Pinewood derbies, they've all been rolled into the ranks.
Yeah. So, while you're required to complete 2 electives, you're likely going to complete a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's move on. There we go. STEM and NOVA was abysmal to try to instruct not only just what the requirements were, but trying to find someone who was qualified to be an instructor for it or a mentor or I don't know what they call it. But this is how it has been implemented and ruled into the system now. So the italics are existing and the bold is on new. And it's for everybody. Gizmos, coding, technology, math.
I mean, we're in a world where
It is.
Scouts has always been an outdoor program, but a lot of youth really want to learn more about, science and
They do.
STEM, and that's a big thing that we're realizing now that we can still incorporate into our outdoor program. So
Exactly.
Yeah, that
there's
brings
a,
in a lot more people.
yes, so there's a way to still have them do these hands-on activities and be learning something that's still very pertinent to the rest of our scouting model.
Yes, because not everybody wants to go hiking.
Right.
Or
Not everybody wants to
camping.
fish.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So, but they still want to be active,
Mm-hmm.
and they still want to have that camaraderie of a den and a pack meeting. But they're more cerebral inclined.
Yeah.
So this is to
I think this will
continue to
keep a
stimulate them.
lot of people around more because a lot of people were turned off by, oh, I don't want to go outside all the time.
Yeah.
Well, no, we don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, and let's face it, the pack can't really do a lot outside in the winter time.
Right.
So this provides you with additional opportunities for those rainy days, those cold
Mhm.
days when, going out and riding a bike or walking around or doing whatever other outdoor based activity is not as possible.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there were a ton of meetings where we were just winging it because it was raining and we had an outdoor
Yeah.
activity plan.
Right.
All right. So these are the awards that have that attachment rate that are now enrolled in. And the elective adventures, 15 to 25%.
As opposed to 1.5. I mean, that's a
Right.
much higher.
It is much higher.
Well, the awards, if you will, however that's what they were, weren't always
They're not very
sought
prominent.
after because it wasn't in the main program.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the den leaders weren't necessarily always aware of the awards,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially the NOVA STEM awards. So
And honestly, when I was a den leader, there started to have this this philosophy that the den year and the pack year went from September to May 31st. Like, bye. I'll
Yeah.
see you in September.
Right.
And so they came out with the summertime pack award to encourage that. At least get the kids together, kids scouts together once a month for bowling, pool party.
But they made
but
it
it just-
difficult to earn.
They made it difficult to earn,
Mhm.
and the numbers of trying to get that many people together with vacations.
Yeah, it's something.
You could get like 3 together, but then those 3 you didn't meet the 20%
Yeah.
of
The whole pack.
the whole pack. So
In order to get the award?
yeah.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
it's a pack
It was
award. It's
Oh,
an
it's a
example.
pack
It's a pack
award.
award.
Right.
It was a pack award,
Right.
and then they
Yeah,
had
no
a
wonder
den,
nobody did
a
it.
den
Yeah.
summertime award, which is a little bit easier, but,
Yeah.
and I just threw the 20% out there, but still, it was an example of, you know, if you've only got 3 people in town, but
Yeah.
the requirement says you have to meet X percentage,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
just, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Plus, part of the award for the Cub Master to meet was scheduling at least one event
Every month.
each
Every
month.
month.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
June,
wasn't
July, and
just
August.
3 events. It was an event in June, an event in July, and an
Yeah.
event in August. They did change that. I think it was last year to just 3
Three
over the
events.
summer.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
this will be a whole lot easier.
In at least
to-
2
Yeah.
months. It
So
had
when
to
you
be
start
2
Yeah,
months.
looking,
something like
when you
that.
start looking at, you know, and I was a geography major, so I'm
Okay.
very much into like mapping things and charting it out. And when you have it all out here and you're looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, like this rank has this, and this rank only has this much, and this has this much, and then let's throw this out here,
Hey,
and
Heather.
this one over here,
Do you have a
and.
We have a question from Keith Yox.
Okay.
Hopefully I said that
Hey,
right,
Keith.
If a scout earns the Pinewood Derby Award, then comes the following year and does the Derby again, can they double dip as a required elective adventure?
Yeah, because it's a separate
Yes,
elective.
because it's separate. They have to show advancement, or not advancement, they have to show improvement over the next year, over the previous year.
And it's based on rank.
Yes, it is based on rank.
Each year is based on rank.
Mhm. So there was a lot, you know, it was a lot going on when you're looking at all these different ranks and all of these extra extraneous things floating out there that half the time people didn't even know what they were. I mean, this doesn't even say what it is.
And
It's
that's
a cute patch, it
Yeah.
doesn't tell you what it is.
It's a World Conservation Award.
Yeah, it's no wonder that
You're like,
you know,
why?
the attachment rate was so low because it was just too much being thrown at you. So
Yeah.
rolling it all in, organizing it a little better. Okay, next. There we go, range and target sports. There we go. This is what it looks like. So there's, this is supposed to be wrist rocket. Learn that. Wrist rocket, archery, and BBs. It can only be earned at council and district events with qualified adult supervision who are all NRA certified range masters. There at the bottom.
Yep.
But it's, again, it's a consistency where you start with the very basics and note right here, I don't want to have any fights with anybody who's watching this if you come to Cub Camp in the fall or in the spring or next summer. Lions,
They don't
not
get to do
age
BBs.
appropriate for them to use BBs.
Yeah.
It is a big no-no, big no-no.
A lot of that has to
Um,
do with the devices themselves are
Yes.
very difficult
It is
for their
it is
age
very
level to
difficult
be
for
able
them
to.
to pull back
Mhm.
Yes.
on the lever.
Yes.
And the studies have shown that
Yeah.
kindergartners, you know, the targets that we have do not have any living embodiment on them.
Right.
They're not allowed to aim at it. Even if it's got like an alien face on it, it still has eyeballs, it still could be a living thing. And psychologically, they don't have that separation yet between what's real and what's not with aiming. So, yes, each one of these does add up onto the next. Oddly enough, it was not released until the end of the summer. So instructors were still using the old manuals at camp this summer, but we've got the new ones and they know what they need to do.
Yeah, the nice thing is, it's now part of the belt loop and pin system.
Yes, it is. Before it
It's-
was, again,
It was a
something
separate
else out
patch.
there.
Where do you put it? How do you wear it? What do you?
It was a little hanger
Yeah.
patch,
Yeah.
Shooting Sports Award.
And you had these tiny little pins to stick on it that always
Oh.
got lost.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I digress.
The little pins.
Oh, they were terrible.
They were not great.
No.
Okay. Any questions about range and target sports? Okay. Weeblos. Weeblos is a separate grade. We're gonna take a look at the uniforms, not a separate grade, separate rank, and so is the Arrow of Lights. Definitely, it's not Weebs 2, it is Arrow of Light. Arrow of Light is its own rank, it's not an award. Weeblos are 4th grade. Still wear the blue uniform. They still have their Weeblos hat and their Weeblos neckerchief.
Well, that's an old picture.
It is.
It is.
It's okay.
He's still wearing a bobcat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Weeblos
The
diamond shaped
the
patch.
Weeblos diamond patches, the old is really old. They got rid of those
It is.
about 4 or
Right
5
there.
years ago.
Right there. The
Arrow light.
Arrow of Lights. The green pants, the khaki shirt. I just like, look, I know that color. So they do wear the Scouts BSA uniform. We need to update that too to Scouting.
Yes.
Scouting America. They do not have a hat and they do not have a neckerchief. Those are not available for them at
That rank.
at this rank because they are getting ready to cross over, and for that 5 months.
Yeah, they cross over pretty early.
Yeah, they do. It's an abbreviated year for them because they start in the springtime with the troop. Why are we spending the money on that?
Right.
That's a lot of money. So this is prepping them, giving them the very basics for them to cross over. Let's see.
Do have a question for when
Yes.
they cross over. You know how they switch the neckerchiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Will they still wear the Weeblos with that, or just for that ceremony?
No, they don't.
So
they don't.
what'll obviously happen at this point is we'll have to adjust a lot of
Yeah,
the
the
ceremonies
ceremony
to
will
kind of
adjust.
say, okay, we may not have that component anymore, so we'll still present, most of your troops are still probably going to accept the Scout, present them with their new
Right.
The new
uniform
changes,
pieces,
yeah.
but there won't be that ceremonial sort of removing of the old and,
Okay.
and that kind of thing,
Out
other
the
than
old,
their
new.
epaulets.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and,
Their
and
shoulder loops.
during that ceremony,
Yeah.
they'll most likely still have the blue uniform on.
No, they should have their
No, I mean,
their
that-
they
no.
should have the
At the end
this
of,
one.
what I'm saying is at the end of their Weeblos year,
Oh, yeah.
we would switch their neckerchief or their slide. We did a slide, a
Right.
different slide
Mhm.
for their moving up to AOLs.
Yeah.
We may still do that. I mean, it depends on.
Which just
the
depends on what they
Cubmaster,
do,
but-
but yeah.
I don't think they're gonna
but-
have the slide.
No.
No.
What I'm saying is we.
Each unit kind of,
Yeah,
a lot of
we would
units
do
will have
something
something
You
different.
can make your own.
That's
right,
what we
slide.
did. We did
Yeah.
loggles.
Yeah.
Or that's what I meant.
And there
Yeah.
are units that have their own neckerchiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of doing the rank neckerchiefs, there are
Mhm.
some units that will just do a singular neckerchief and just change the slide each year. Every unit has a little bit of leeway to do some of their own things.
Personalization.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's gonna kind of be dependent on each group.
Yeah.
But, if you have this young lady over here crossing over to a troop and she doesn't have a neckerchief or a slide, that's not gonna be the end of the world. They're going to be presented most likely with whatever their troop is using. And same thing with troops. They often have a lot of personalization with their neckerchiefs and things like
And with
that.
their hats as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was like a customizable thing.
Yeah, and it does happen more at the troop level than
Yeah.
you see at the pack level.
And they can decide, when they start meeting again as a den, that they can choose if they want their own den neckerchief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or their own den hat
Mhm.
if they wanna go to that extreme.
As part of that program is deciding what you're going to call your patrol. So it's a
Yeah.
prep
It's preparing for
Oh.
time for them to
Yeah.
cross
Okay.
over to a troop. And so they talk a lot about what it's going to be like in the troop, and they'll have they don't call it a den leader. It's what is it? What do they call them? Denners.
The denner.
Yeah,
Yes, the
they do a
denners.
denner thing, which is kind of like a patrol leader.
Not dinner as in DINNER.
Yeah. And and so that's still part of the program is them prepping to go over to the troop. Whereas in Weeblos, it used to be that was like almost a 2-year, like an 18-month program
It was.
essentially. And so
Oh.
they just continued on with their Weeblo
Right.
stuff, and that whole thing was intended to prep them for the troop. But now
They've separated.
Weeblos are strictly 4th grade, just like all the other ranks. They're just focused on that
They're
grade level.
advanced. Yeah.
Whereas the AOL Era of Light dens, most of their focus is going to be prepping them
For
to
the new one.
cross
move
over
over.
to a
Right.
troop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because having this separation, what it used to be is if you had a child who was 10, 5th grade, and they were in Era of Light, well, they had to do the Era of Light program, and they also had to go back and do the Weeblos program before they could cross over.
Didn't
Yeah, a
know
long
that.
time ago that
Yeah.
was
Long
the,
time
that
ago.
was the case. Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's why it's been
So-
confusing for a number of years because the uniforms have been adjusted a number of times in the last 6 years.
There's been a split in the name where people are
yes.
still calling it Weeblos 2
Right.
instead of Era of
Right.
Light.
So they really made this a
think it
much
was-
more definitive difference and said, okay,
Yeah, I like this.
no more confusion. This is going to be this.
Yes.
This is going to be this, and we no longer will have this mixture of the two in the middle.
Yeah.
And they don't have to go back and do an entirely new program while they're either trying to do this program or before they even start, just depending on the pack.
Yeah.
But they even started with the rest of the group.
Well, yeah, so another thing that they would have to do before they could do anything was earn their Bobcat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You have a Bobcat?
Not the
And then-
Bobcat.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah,
like,
and
oh,
if
wait a
they
minute,
were
no,
the
you have to do this
only
now. Wait,
ones-
no, you have to
Yeah.
do this bit
Yeah.
now.
Yep. Yep.
But if they were the only ones that were new in that den,
And we've
then
had
they
that
had
happen.
to do it, and most of the time the den leader would just go over the stuff in a meeting and then sign them off for the
Yeah.
Bobcat rank.
Yeah.
Now, because if we go back a few slides,
Yep.
everybody's
Everyone
gonna
does
do that
Bobcat.
Bobcat
Okay.
adventure,
Yeah.
then it's not so awkward for the new kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's really weird, like,
Yeah.
to be 10 years old, I'm gonna do Bobcat before I can meet with y'all.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Let me get my scout
4 years
sign.
ago.
Right.
Let me know how the handshake goes, right?
Yeah.
So the books have the pins, they've got the name, which, goodness gracious, if you've ever tried to figure out, I go home with 10 books, I'm like, I don't know whose these are.
Yeah.
Spiral bound.
Sounds like the first meeting.
Yeah. Now, and of course, there's two separate ones.
There are 2 separate books.
So-
It used to be one
One
book
big
with
book.
everything
Wow.
mashed in, and you had to
Yeah.
flip through to figure out which one you were working on.
Yeah.
2 separate books.
I didn't know anything about it before, but I like this way more
Yeah.
already.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know, but this is good.
It
Yeah,
is.
'cause I'm at the wolf
It-
rank, so
it
we
is.
haven't even touched this yet.
Yes.
We've gone through the whole thing twice, and let me just tell you, this
This is
is
good.
much better.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, Era of Light to Scouts BSA. The Era, we just talked about this.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm sorry, my question.
There we go.
No, it was good. You moved us along.
Yeah.
All right. So what are the benefits of it? Well, they're learning the patrol method because they've got a denner. They get to choose a patrol name, elect a patrol leader. They make a patrol flag with everyone's name on it. They recite the scout oath and law with their patrol. They work on a code of conduct. Oh, I tell you, have y'all done this?
Yeah, a few times.
I did it with my dens, and it is powerful when you have them sit down and decide what is appropriate or not in their own words and write it down, and then someone's like two sessions later, and you're like, hey,
Remember.
didn't you say this? Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Demonstrate the Scouts BSA sign, salute, handshake, show how each is used. With your patrol or with your parent, legal guardian, visit a Scouts BSA troop. So this is a change. In the past, you were doing your visits in October, November, because you were crossing over, and well, it kept getting earlier and earlier and earlier. It was like April, and then March, and then Blue and Gold Banquet. September. September, they need to be finding a troop and visit with them. Because they need that time to go back and make sure that's really where they really wanted to be. Visiting troops is not a one-off, and I equate it to trying on shoes. Not everybody's gonna fit, not all of them are the same style or the same heel height that you're looking for. That's right. Some's gonna pinch your toes a little bit, some of them are a little too big and wide, some of them are too tiny. You've got to go back several times and take them for a test drive, okay? Because they've all got different traditions in them. Some of them have more of a hiking tradition, some of them have more of a canoeing or camping tradition.
They all have their own personality.
They do. They do. And if you don't find something, keep looking. Don't just say, well, that's it, because there are hundreds of them out there.
Yeah.
Just keep looking. And this is the How to Protect Your Children from Child Abuse is in each book again. Critically important. Right? So everything that we're showing you can be found on scouting.org. And this is, we can read that. Ooh, great.
That's blurry.
Gracious.
It's very.
I thought it was my old lady eyes here. The Line Adventure.
Oh,
No, there, that's as good as it's gonna get.
That's a mountain lion.
Mountain lion, Son on the Run, King of the Jungle.
She just knows what they're
I know what they're called.
There's
So,
That's what they're
Lion's
called.
Pride. Is
And
that
that's a new one.
Lion's Side.
Honor.
Honor?
Yeah, Lion's Honor.
Okay.
It's
Pers-
an old
it says
one.
personal safety.
It's one of the old
Okay.
ones. Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Elect is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so just something that we have. So you remember they had the cyber chip, and then they changed it over to protect yourself
Protect yourself.
rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
The personal safety
Contains
rank is one of the requirements in that is to watch the protect yourself rules videos
Yep.
for that rank. So
Well, that
those
makes
are
more
still in
sense.
there. They're just not a separate
Okay.
thing just for
Right.
that.
And
Right.
that, again, that's another example of something that was floating out there that you could do that's
Right.
now
Right. Yeah.
been driven.
It's much more
into-
obvious that you need to
It
do
is.
it, as
Mhm.
opposed to kind of like, do I do
Peripheral
this? Do I
thing,
not do
yeah.
this? What am I supposed to do with this? Yeah.
Emergency prep. There's another one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there were tons of them, which was great, but it was too floating around. So, the book. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
We're moving on.
Are you ready?
Moving
Okay.
on.
Moving on.
He's like, I've got a deadline.
That's
No.
right. That's right.
So Fun on the Run for Lions in kindergarten. So what we're looking at here is this is what it's going to look like for the den leaders now. These are the requirements. There's no more requirement 2, part 1. Do A, B,
C, D, or pick
D.
2 of the
Or
next
pick
5
2
of
of the
these.
next 5.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. That was like that.
terrible.
I'm like, what?
I mean, they were trying to give options that would help people to make sure that there was something in there that they could do,
Yes.
but it meant
The
that there were
delivery.
all, well, because then sometimes it was like, well, you know, teaching the kids how to tie knots is going to be too difficult, so I'm just going to skip that one because that one's not required specifically for me to do. So they kind of looked at it and said, well, maybe we'll take some of those options back from you and really make it more specific to what we feel the kids should be able to accomplish.
And make it clearer for you to understand so that
Yeah.
you're not going through this chart
Yeah.
down and down and wait a minute, I do 4 of these, but then I go back up and pick 2 of these, but there were 4 under that one, but now I'm over here.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Difficult to understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was difficult. So they are clear, individual, each one.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I will mention about this, all of this is online. So all of the leader information is online. And it has been updated, so you can go out there and look at all of this information. They didn't have it out originally at the beginning of June. But it is there now, so that you can start planning your meetings and what you're gonna do, you know, that first month or so when you start having your kids coming back to den
That's right.
meetings.
And they're also in Spanish. They have Spanish out there for the den leaders as well.
Yeah.
Get to know them, your den. So this tells you it's something that you do indoors. Making your den flag. There's all these symbols. I can't even read the symbol. Tell you what that is.
One of
There's
them is
the-
like electrical.
Yeah.
One of them looks
the
like
amount of time it
energy-
takes
it's
to do
time.
it.
maybe the
It's
amount of
energy,
time.
prep, and time.
There
Yes,
you go.
There we go.
Yeah. So how much energy does it take for you, probably, or you know, to prepare that kind of thing? Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. So there's a den doodle, and then that one's in Spanish again.
Yeah.
So they're not all going to come mixed. You're not going to need to use Google Translate. They'll either be fully, but it's up there
I
as
think
a.
that's just filler.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, there you
This is
go.
the
It's
website.
up there
That's what it looks like.
to remind us that it does come in Spanish as well.
This is the website that, or the web page that, get back over there, that you'll have for each rank. I'll just pick the lion one.
Since that's what
And,
we're already looking at.
So, you know, you can, click that, and it'll go to this, which is what you were seeing on that slide, and then it tells you the requirements.
Oh,
And
Look at
then
that. Now we can
easier
see.
See
Yeah.
how
Click
the
on
numbers
these
have
things.
changed?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little more effort to make that den flag than what they were saying.
Yeah. So.
But now you can see what they are.
So yeah, if you wanna, you know, these are activities, right? So it says requirement one, it is choose one of the following, but it's, you know, they give you options of the things that you maybe you want to do. And then you go here,
And you'll see everything you need,
and it'll explain all the materials that you'll need.
Isn't that gorgeous?
how
Yeah.
to do
It's
it.
pretty cool.
So this is replacing the den leader guides, the books, the paper books that
Yep.
you would normally
Okay.
have before. So the reason why they're doing it this way is so that they can update resources
Much quicker.
much easier
Mhm.
throughout the year. Maybe they add different activities, switch them out because maybe they weren't as popular, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. So this kind of took what they had the last couple of years, the den leader experience,
Yes.
and has really improved it and taken it to a much higher level of detail and really given you a full lesson plan on really how to do this.
So how you get there is scouting.org, programs, Cub Scouts, and then kind of have to scroll to the bottom. Oops,
Right.
hold on. Yeah, you got to click on leaders, and then scroll
I know,
past
they
it. Den leader resources.
Didn't totally make it easy to find.
No,
but
they didn't. But once you get there, you can go down here,
You can click on each book.
and you can click on each book,
Yeah.
and it'll take you to
the
where
program
you
you're
want to
working
go.
on.
So we wanted to Weeblos, and then pick an adventure. It's a bit of an adventure to get here, but
But you know what? If you're like a Weeblos den leader, all you have to do is bookmark.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
just
like saying, once you
you
get to
there,
it.
That's
you
great.
bookmark this,
Yeah.
it'll take you right to it. You can do
right.
all your stuff.
Exactly.
But I just wanted to show you this so that you know how to get to all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, again, you just click on that, and it explains to you all the stuff,
Those are
requirements,
and then all
and then
together.
your activities.
Is this
No.
all in the app too?
This is on just
Just the website?
the website.
Okay.
You'll see in Scoutbook Plus.
There should be a link.
So I'll bring that up towards the end of the slides and everything,
Take it to
so
the
that you can
presentation
see what the interface looks like. Scoutbook has been transitioned to Scoutbook Plus for all the rank advancement entering. So when you go to enter it, it's going to look a little bit, a lot different.
Okay.
But it's not it's not bad.
Okay.
You know, it's logical. It actually works pretty
It
good.
looks way more streamlined.
Yeah, certainly your den leader guide stuff right here is pretty straightforward about what you need to do and how to do it. So.
No more killing trees.
Right.
Yes.
And see, I was just about to point out, you can print the page.
You could,
Yes,
you
but
could,
you
yeah.
don't have to print the entire book or
Yeah.
keep buying
Yeah.
the book over and over
Right.
again because there's been one page that's been updated.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that.
And I believe these are also going to be put on index cards if you really want to have like a physical copy of it to take with you. Or you can print them on an index card.
Here's
Here we go.
I'll zoom in slide of that stuff.
Listening.
Oh, interesting. This is a little tells you how much stuff you need. I'll move on.
And I like the way that they've done this too because you don't want to have everything so high energy all the time for an entire den meeting. You want to bring it back down again at the end of the evening. You want them to be quiet. You want them to be able to go home and go to bed.
Well, and to have a reasonable expectation about how much time is this really going to take,
Yes.
how much effort it needs to be put into it.
Which
You know, knowing if I planned to do this one particular activity and I think it's supposed to take the whole time and it doesn't, and now what do I do for the next 20 minutes while they have nothing, you know, I had nothing else planned. So it helps to really plan those things out a little
it
bit better.
does, and to overplan as well. Always have one extra in your back pocket just in case.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you've only got 3 children that show up that night for a den meeting that you're going to move through this pretty quickly and you gotta have something else for them to do.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need that.
No, that's
We're done with that
so
now.
we're beyond that. So there's the, does that even go to anything anymore?
I don't
Mm,
know.
I think this comes to like the 5,000 foot view of
Yeah.
everything because they've got
Yeah.
all detailed
Yeah.
up there now. And that's all passed as
That's
well.
all,
And
yeah.
Chuck, you know, like, I'm not Chuck.
I'll
But
get-
you can email me if you want.
That's right. That's right.
Did you want to review the arrow of light to
I think
Scouts
we
BSA?
covered that pretty well, unless anybody has additional questions about that, as far as transitioning from that 5th grade Arrow of Light rank to Scouts BSA. You know, I think we did kind of cover a lot of that. They're going to really be in the AOL Arrow of Light rank. It's really tailored to creating that connection, starting to have the scouts doing the things that they should expect to be doing at a troop, but still with the comfort of their den leader and the scouts that they have been with, hopefully, for the last 5 years in the program. But also starting to give them an opportunity to have a little bit of independence. So one thing we didn't mention is, while the Arrow of Light Den is still very much an integral part of your pack, they have opportunities to go out and do some of their activities on their own,
Yes.
to
you
start giving them a little bit more of that sense of working together independently and not having as much of the parental involvement as they've had in previous years. So it is really to help them start sort of transitioning into that new experience. Because when you transition to a troop, mom and dad aren't usually going with you on your campouts anymore.
Nope.
So as a Cub Scout, you're camping as a family. In the troop, you're expected to be in your own tent. So that Arrow of Light period of time starts to give them the opportunity to feel out some of that independence, but still in the comfort of being with people they've already been with for a long time.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point. And that for Weeblo's den leaders, they still need to have outdoor Weeblo's leader skills. That is not the same as the Baloo training, which is the basic adult leader outdoor orientation, which is more for like a pack training, and there should be more than one of those in a pack. If that person's got sick, then nobody can go camping that weekend.
That's right.
So you should have a backup. But the outdoor Weeblo's leader skills, OWLs, is required for the den to go out and camp with a troop or to go out and camp solo, because it is a different set of skills camping by yourself than supervising the entire pack as a Baloo trainer would. The only other thing that we did not mention that has also been rolled in is the Whitland chip is now
Yes.
something that needs to be it's required. They need to earn that every year as a bear, a Weeblo, and an arrow of light.
Look at
That's also been rolled in.
look at the elective presentation.
So the arrow of light required adventures. They still have sticks. They still have their little pins. They still have their applet. I forget which arm it's on.
I
The
gotcha.
fringies.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the pins on.
Yeah. Their
Yes.
colors.
Those are what the pins look like.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I know he's trying to do two things at once here, so.
Okay.
And we talked about that.
We did, but this is what the Bobcats will be working on.
Yeah, so this would be the Arrow of Light Bobcat.
Yes.
So, which
Did
I guess that's
I said Bobcat, I meant Arrowblind Bobcat.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah, so look at
Let's just go through.
each
Yeah.
required, yeah.
Just for the online views. Eventually, I'm just kind of gonna pause through the slides so that somebody can pause the video.
Yeah, and we'll post this on the
Facebook page.
Facebook page for the district, and we also emailed out to the district email list the link for the video, so anybody that wants to be able to go back and look at it later. Some of these images are available,
Go back to that.
but some are not.
Yeah, but you can see how some of these older
Yeah, things are gone. Yeah.
things are how they've been rolled
So
in or where they've been rolled in.
So, you mentioned Whittling Chip. So, Whittling Chip is gone.
Yep.
It was an award that they earned.
Once as a bear.
As a
and
bear.
That was it.
So, right. So now there is a knife safety adventure. And it still doesn't begin until 3rd grade. It begins as a bear, just as we did Bear Claws before. But now there is an adventure bear, Weeblos, and Arrow of Light, and it sort of increases the safety
It does.
and the skill in each year, the expectation of what they should be able to do. So you won't see that start until their bear year, but there will be an adventure each year so that they can continue to review the safety rules and continue to work on those skills.
So these are slides showing how things transitioned
Right.
from the old to the new, so you get to see
The old.
your outdoor activity is now Let's Camp Lion. World Conservation is Lion Champions,
Yeah.
and of course your what'd you call them? Range. Well, they say it's shooting sports.
Range and target
Range
sport.
and target sport. Rats.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh Lord.
That's terrible.
I didn't come up with it. Range and target sports.
Well, it's a good way to remember it.
It is.
Boy.
Yeah, so some of the things apparently, the name changed.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Rumble in the Jungle changed to Lion's Roar. So
Right.
and it's a required adventure now.
Right.
So
Right. Before it was just an elective.
And then I don't know why these slides are out of order, so I had to go back to go to Tiger. So it's the same thing you see, but now you see, some different stuff.
Ooh.
You're going
sorry.
backwards
I hit
altogether,
the
aren't you?
I hit the scroll wheel on my mouse. Sorry. So you're just seeing the same kind of stuff as, you know, they've transitioned
how-
things.
Tigers have been put in for BBs.
Yeah.
But the lions did not have it. It was not a boo-boo misprint.
Right, and so what Heather was talking about earlier was this patch went away,
Mm-hmm.
and they just don't have a patch for it anymore.
Right.
But the pins for each one transferred into
Into a butler.
adventures.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go back and then there. So then, as you see, that you still don't have any.
Now that is
witnesses yet.
just.
Yeah, that's a wild color.
Yeah, it is.
So you still don't have any whittling chip.
Yeah, there's no
Stuff.
knife safety there.
Right.
But we
And
can
then-
still do the BBs, actually.
Yes. You
Mhm.
can do BBs and
Mhm.
archery and slingshots.
Mhm.
Ah, wrist rockets.
Wrist rockets.
Wrist rockets.
They're
I know.
calling it
We're
slingshot.
trying to transition our terminology. Yes. But then, yes, so there you go, where you used to have bear claws as a bear, you now have whittling,
Right.
just called whittling.
Right. And of course, bear claws went away,
Right.
and so now you just have the whittling award. I mean, adventure.
Adventure. Yeah.
Use bear claws.
Mhm.
And then the next one is just showing the AOL and Weeblo stuff.
Yeah. Right, so the awards themselves, you know, a lot of that stuff has not changed. You know, you still have belt loops, you still have pins. You just have more options and a much clearer direction of what you're supposed to be doing. All right, did you wanna? I think we've covered most all of this. Heather, was there anything else you wanted to?
Oh, yeah, so these slides, so I'm just, some of this, I just wanted to, for the video, for YouTube, I just wanted to pause on some of these things so that people can see them, pause
Sure.
the video, if they watch it later. Again, here we go, the AOL stuff,
And you can see this is very abbreviated
Right.
yes.
to account for their time in the pack.
I think that this just goes through some points that
Right.
were talked about earlier. Was everybody's got a fishing adventure, everybody's got a biking adventure,
A bear on a bike.
yeah, everybody's got
That's
a
great.
Pinewood Derby adventure, or rain gutter regatta adventure, swimming.
I like the
Let's go swim with the bear.
Overnight camp out. So like I said, you know, before you didn't get anything for going on a camp out every year, and
Right.
now you're gonna get something.
Right.
I'm sure that, you know, I haven't looked at the actual requirements, but, you know, it's possible. And then of course you have your conservation stuff and
Yeah. Summertime stuff.
summertime stuff,
Paddle sports.
paddle sport, yeah.
Well, and again, you'll
Yeah.
notice there are certain activities that are age specific. So things like the paddle sports where you're looking at canoeing, things like that, knife safety, they are going to be reserved for older scouts.
So again, the whittling chip gone away, knife safety stuff, and obviously if you're a Weeblos or an AOL den leader, you're gonna, or a bear den leader as well, you're gonna look at these in more detail, but whittling is where you would do your bear claw stuff, learning the knife safety and stuff. Weeblos is about kitchen knives, and then AOL is about all knives. If you look at the adventure, you see it's got a kitchen knife and a pocket knife. And that's the point, is that you've got your pocket knife here, and it's the same graphic there, right? And then you got your kitchen knife. So in here you're gonna learn about the right way to use a kitchen knife. Then range, target sports, rats. And then
Just
STEM.
seems weird. We did all that.
Yeah,
So, okay.
so that's it for that. Was there something else in here that you wanted to go over? Okay.
Alright, so the very last thing to talk about is how all of this affects Cub Camp. Because for years and years, we were walking a line at Cub Camp between how much to offer as far as adventures. And part of this 24,000 person survey they found is that 50% of them did not send their children to Cub Camp because they knew they were going to earn electives that did not have any context because they couldn't earn the entire portion of their advancement, right?
Right.
You're doing just a little bit here and a little bit there because you're in a program area for 45, 50 minutes and you've got all these other kids that are just excited to be at camp and they can't control themselves and so nobody's concentrating on what they're doing.
Yeah.
What are they really getting out of it?
Yeah.
Right? The other 50% want to take their kids to camp. And I kid you not, last year there was a woman, God love her, brand new den leader, thought she was gonna get half of her year program done in 2 days at Cub Camp. So I'm here to tell you that Cub Scouts at camp has a deeper purpose. It is not a merit badge factory. We are not a dumbed down mini version of Scouting, BSA, Scouting America. Camping for Cubs is to get them interested in being in the great outdoors, ease them into that comfort zone because it's big and scary sleeping with just a wall of fabric between you and who knows what out there, right? The skunk, the camp skunk.
Exactly.
You're not with mom and dad. And getting them out of their comfort zone, right? Wasn't it Mike Rowe who said that the discomfort that you do is where your growth happens? And the dirtier you are, the messier you are, the more you learn, right? So we want to get them out doing that. Well, those 50% and 50%, we had to find something in the middle. So 2 years ago, we started easing back on the amount of advancements, and this is before this even came out through National. So National's recommendation is that we not offer advancement at Cub Camp anymore. Because the purpose of camp is to get them ready and comfortable to be at camp and to do things that they cannot do in a den and pack meeting. You can't go fishing at your den meeting, right? That does not mean that it doesn't serve a purpose at camp. There are plenty of things that we still do out there, but because this was announced and I found out at the same time as everybody else, it's not something that was rolled out that I had any pre-advancement for. And I've been working on the programming that we have out there for going on 12 years now of developing the programming. So there will be some overlap for some things that are adventure related and some of them are not.
Well, like the range and target sports.
Range and
fishing
target sports,
and
exactly.
that kind of
Fishing.
electives.
Things that you can't do or that you probably could do. You could go to like a local pond or something. It is a little challenging to get that much equipment. But summer camp's purpose now is not to provide advancement. We want to get them comfortable with camping. We want the parents out there. We want you to unplug yourselves. Work is not going to go anywhere for 2 days. Just spend that time with your kids and unplug. Like I said, mine are 30 and 22, y'all. It's no joke. It goes fast. I'm a grandma. Okay. It goes really fast. Take the 2 days and just spend time with them. Undevoted attention.
So
And concentrate on
I'll
them.
back up for a minute for Heather. For those of us who have been in scouting for a while, we oftentimes take for granted that a lot of other leaders and parents that are in scouting know all of the things that we have to offer, particularly in our own council. And so for those of you who have gone to Cub Adventure Camp out at the Scout Reservation in Goochland, that's fantastic. There are a lot of people that don't realize that our council even owns its own camp. that
It's
we
very
offer.
rare.
Yes, and that we offer not only a summer camp program for our older scouts who are in a troop, but we offer a summer camp program for our Cub Scouts. Now, it doesn't look the same. They're not going away by themselves for a week without mom and dad with, just their pack leaders. It's still a family activity, but it is an opportunity for those families to go out and have a small adventure. And it's a great opportunity for packs to go and as a unit be able to participate and do that, and not to necessarily have something to earn. Because we do have to remind our scouts that not everything has to have that immediate reward. It doesn't have to have a pen or a loop. Sometimes we really do just go out and spend a great adventure in the outdoors to have fun, because that is a big component of what we want scouting to be about. And it's an opportunity to go somewhere where leaders and parents don't have to constantly plan and prepare and
be
know
trained.
all the
We have the
answers.
training for you.
Right. So it's a great opportunity to get out and experience all the different activities that are available in scouting, and not necessarily be the one that has to put it all together and know how to do it. So we don't always do a very good job of promoting it. It's a fantastic program, and we need to do a whole lot better about getting more of our Cub Scouts out there to participate in it.
And not just, it is incredibly unique. I think there's only 11 Cub purpose-built camps in the country. We've got 200 acres for our Cubs to play on.
Yep.
Out there. That is so rare. We are blessed to have that. Most councils have one camp, and it's for the troops, and they take a week or 2 weeks in the summer, and they try to convert that into something that's going to work for little itty-bitty bodies. And our camp was designed by elementary school architects. Everything in it is child size, child appropriate, child distanced. And you may not see initially, maybe we could have done this back at the den, but just the experience and what's going on in the growth up here. I see it with my staff every summer too. At the beginning of the summer, and then seeing how they're walking with confidence and really functioning as a team. What's going on up here, they're getting it. It doesn't have to be instantaneous gratification or some physical thing that they're bringing home with them from camp. There's deeper stuff going on with it, and that's what I love about this program. It just reaches every single part of you. It gives me goosebumps, honestly. And it's not just the chill in this room. It's
Why wear sweatshirt?
So, do y'all have any questions at all about this? I know it was a lot to toss at you, or anything else really while I'm here. No burning issues. I'm out of here.
There you go.
Well, thank you everybody for coming, and
Yeah, thank you for coming.
thank you to those that will watch the video in the future on YouTube. This, like I said, will be posted on Facebook. So if you have any moments where you're like, I don't remember what that slide looked like, you can go back and watch it and check it out. So.
Updated. That's right. And they have any questions after watching the video, you can reach me at heather.mulvihill@scouting.org, and we'll throw that somewhere in the comments where we'll spell out my last name.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll post it in there.